I want to welcome everyone to Like It Really Is, where we have conversations about real talk, real situations, real issues that's plaguing our community and plaguing our people. Today, we have Dawn and Mama Rhonda with us today. I just want to let everyone know that we are going to be on every Monday at 12 p.m. That's going to be the start of Like It Really Is. And anyone that wants to be a part of that, um, you can leave a message in the link in the comment section, and we will definitely make you a part of what we're trying to do. Um, Today, I wanted to have a conversation about addiction and the struggles that people go through, and also identifying if your child is addicted to any kind of drugs, or your friends is addicted to any kind of drugs. Um, we know that a lot of people in our family, everyone in our families, have at least one person that has an addiction to drugs, and we struggle with trying to get them off, and with the realization that we can't change people. People have to be able to change themselves. Now, there are a lot of drugs out here on the market now that a lot of young kids are using, which is this smoke marijuana called Zaza. You also have, uh, you know, all the other kinds of drugs, which is the opiates, cocaine, and stuff like that. Now, as a person that is a former addict, a recovering addict, I know some of the struggles that people go through, um, trying to get their mind together, their lives together. I just like to ask a question about where does it start? Where does it stem from in the beginning? What are some of the problems that can occur at a young age? Um, in that kind of situation. Um, Dawn, let's start with Dawn. Can you speak on that?
Addiction is a very deep issue. Addiction doesn't just start with the drugs. It starts from underlying issues that people use the drugs and other things to cope. So addiction starts with pain, trauma, and different things that people try to feelings that ways that people try to cope with pain, and it becomes an ongoing cycle. That's where it starts.
Rhonda,
Yes.
can you tell us um, something that about that situation? Young people, starting at a young age, becoming addicts, picking up these opiates. Where does the problem stem from? Where does it start? And if you can give us a short, kind of definition of what you think and what you feel that drug addiction stems from.
Basically, family background. Um, Sometimes I believe that if it's introduced to you in the early childhood, it becomes the norm. You find your family at party gatherings. Here comes the liquor. You know, um, the marijuana, and you know, it's not really a big deal. Everybody's pulling it out, and you know, it's just the norm for some of us. At a young age, you don't really realize that, you know, it's really not a cigarette or anything else. All they say is we're smoking, and that's how I see it. You're not really shown what are you smoking, you know?
Right. So are you? So when we think about drug addiction and we think about the core of the problem, um, I look at certain things that may play a factor in drug addiction. A lot of people are trying to be a part of, um, trying to be accepted. Uh, people just trying things out for the first time. Some people feel like their father is not at home, and they use that as an excuse to pick up and begin to get high. Um, can we speak to the core of the problem? Like, what's the core of the problem?
The core of the problem is pain. It starts when people have pain, when they have emotional pain, and they try to use something to cope with the pain, to take the pain away.
Excellent, excellent. That's definitely important to understand, is that taking the pain away. What are some of the things that we can do, as parents, when your child is going through certain kinds of pains? Um, what can you do to help a child out that's kind of lost? Rhonda?
Okay. And if I may, add a little bit with that. I mean, on my behalf, I don't know, but being addicted, coming into the world from a parent or whatever that was an addict, and if you go through withdrawals of a drug, in my mindset, I would feel that you already had drugs introduced into your system, and you already were an addict, and it's just a matter of time of when you're going to pick up the drug, per se. Because, like they say, once drugs is introduced into your system, it's in there. And if you detox, it's still there. So sometimes I would say, some people would say, is it something that you pick up, or is it something that's given to you? I would say both. And sometimes we don't have a choice on whether we pick up a drug or not. It was chosen for us. But we do have to learn how to cope. And knowing that in our history of our life, that just we're away from those things.
So it's like the history. A lot of people have history from their parents and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
It's not actually a history, because a history is a story. And if you take off the his, it becomes a story. And what I'm trying to say is not a story, it's a chemical makeup of the person. Like I said, if you already was exposed, okay, per se, at age 16, I smoked a joint. Okay, now I introduced drugs into my system. But what if I was born with a drug in my system and I was detoxed from it? Would you say that I was an addict from the door, and just not, I was sustained from the drug? Say that again.
You're saying you was you an addict from the door? See, that's the question. What do you think about that, Dawn?
Well, as I said earlier, it's a very deep topic. So there's a lot of, ways to look at that. So, I think it would be a little easier to explore that. It's just a lot of ways. And that's true. I do agree with her. Having been someone who was born that way. So I can relate to what she's saying, to what Rhonda's saying.
Yeah. Is there anything that we can do? Is there anything that we can do in this situation? Or let me put it to you this way: is anybody in the community doing anything to help these young people? Because there's a lot of people dying every day. It, are we really making strides to save the young people? Because every day I look on TV, I see somebody dying an overdose. Um, can anybody speak to that?
Yes, I can say this. I can say to the young people that's out there that basically you need to find somebody that you feel comfortable to talk to and share what's going on with inside you, so that way that you can begin to figure out whether or not it's peer pressure or it's something that was put upon you and you just didn't realize it. But once you know, um, once you know, once you know something, then you can do better. Once you know better, then you can do better. Um, I think it begins with education on the education on drugs. Um, and I think that maybe sometimes you need to sit down with yourself and not actually sit there and find excuses on I'm this way because of this person or that person, and take responsibility of yourself and learn to heal and begin to change, because you can change a behavior. You know, just because you were introduced or it's in you does not mean that it has to be consistent in your life. You can always change your life at any given time and moment with help.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have a question that you would like me to answer? Because she said a lot of stuff, and it's really, it's like I said, there's many levels to this. So, there's healing. There's the healing aspect. There's the recovery aspect. There's the part that comes up in families. It's generational patterns. There's a lot of things that come up with this. So we have to. It's just it's very deep, very broad and deep.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here today, because we want to break it down.
Right. So
you know,
which. Uh-huh.
I know that it can't be broken down in a matter of 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but just we want to bring an extra light to the fact that there are still kids out here today that still um, overdosing on drugs, um, just being introduced to different drugs, and there's just not anybody really. Well, I'm not saying anybody, but there's not a lot of people that know the core problems and or actually have the capabilities to fix or support these young people in their endeavors. Um,
Yeah.
my friend DMX died of a drug addiction, and that right there kind of broke my heart, because there was so much more left, with him. And I saw him go back and forth from trying to be clean to not even making it with being clean, just giving up. In my addiction, I've had experiences, with DMX, um, and just one situation that occurred in our process of doing what we were doing at that time. he said to me, he said, "Why are these people doing this to me?" And so I was also in the movie Beat Street, and I was from Yonkers as well, and I dealt with a lot of hate and just a lot of hate. And so I'm not saying that was my excuse to go into getting high, but you know, um, I wasn't feeling well about how people treat other people. Um, so DMX, said, why are people treating me like this? And the only thing that I can say is that look at what they did to me in the movie Beat Street. You know, this is the kind of things that happen when people don't have talent. They will try to pull you down, take your dream away, take your motivation away, and because they don't have any talent. And a lot of times we struggle trying to fit in as a talented person, but really you don't fit in because you're looked at and shunned because of your talents. Now, does that cause you to go out and get high? Uh, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure that that's a part of the pain, you know, and that's some of the things that I wanted to, and also, like, abusing children at young ages, whether it be mental abuse, physical abuse, you know, and when kids don't have somewhere to go to vent that pain from being abused at home, a lot of times they they put something over that pain, which is drugs, in order for them to deal with it. Can we speak to that, Rhonda, a little bit?
Yes. You're so right. You know, you try to find a balance. You try to find, you try to, not a balance, you try to fit a void, an empty feeling, a void that's, you know, you try to grasp onto something that's missing, but you really don't know what it is. And you start running out and seeking it into other places, people, things. And that is why they say in the rooms, people, places, and things. It does play a big part in your life. Um, and sometimes it's not even all the time the drug that is you're addicted to. It's the lifestyle. Lifestyles also have lifestyle also is addiction. The fast pace, how people moving, what they got, what I don't got. You know,
The sex.
they, and I believe that find, once you begin to, first you have to ask yourself, do I have a problem? Because it's like going into a showroom with cars, you know, and they're all perfect. Why would I fix something that's not broken? You know, um, you got to go to the core of things and ask yourself, do I have a problem? That's the first thing foremost, and be willing and open minded and accept the fact that my life has become unmanageable to the drug. You know, if you find yourself not being able to go for a job because, oh, I got a dirty urine, I can't go for that job. You might think you have a problem because if you can't stay clean to go for an interview, that says a lot. Um, it's a couple of things, and it's like sit back and really be honest with self, and then once you're able to do that, then you can allow other people to come into your circle and help you out.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Dawn?
Yes.
I don't think you have to unmute. I think you're good right now. I think it's me.
Okay. Could you ask me a question that you want me to answer? Because Rhonda said a few things, so I don't know where to pick up at. So, just how would you like me to? What What's the next question about like addiction that I can answer?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll give you a question. Do you feel that the, the, the world, the government is doing enough to address, addiction? This is another question separate from what I spoke to Rhonda about. Do you think that the police department, the courts, is doing enough to change this narrative of addiction?
I don't think it starts there. I think that's the result of the internal problem that doesn't get addressed. So once individuals are aware, they need to get the help and stuff that they need on the individual level, so that it doesn't extend
Right.
outside of to the criminal justice system as a result of the behaviors that come out of being addicted and coping behaviors that were learned from being around or being in environments where you have to survive. So it's like I said, it's a really deep issue. So there's many levels to it. There's many factors.
Yes.
No, definitely. That's a fact. There are definitely different levels to this. And, some people might find that this is boring because they've never went through, this kind of problem before. A lot of people have negative feelings towards people that have dealt with drugs, struggled in their life with drugs. Those people are not really accepted. You know, um, a lot of people say, "You're too weak. You're weak. That's why you went on drugs." Do you think that is a weakness that makes people go on drugs, Rhonda?
Hmm.
No, I'm
Nah,
sorry. I'm
I,
sorry. I was asking Dawn, right? Let me ask Dawn first, and I'll come back to you, Rhonda. Hold on to that one.
Being addicted to drugs is not about weakness. Being addicted to drugs, as I said, the core of addiction is pain. And addiction doesn't only, it's not only limited to drugs. There's or many different types of addictions that come out of pain. Okay, so it starts from pain. That's the core. And it's not about weakness, it's about pain. Okay, so, and of course, prolonged use or prolonged addictions does create weakness, because your self-esteem continues to suffer. So without intervention, or the proper interventions and the proper awareness, then it's really hard to address. I mean, does that answer?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
having a little mic problem, but Rhonda, go ahead. What do you think?
yes, I kind of agree with Dawn. Um, and that's where I, in the beginning, was saying it's really not a blame game. You really can't put it on the courts. Really can't put it on the parent. You really can't put it on, you know, it has to be put on the individual, because at one point you have to be willing and able to acknowledge and accept the fact that something's going on with me, you know um and it it's not always going to be seen by somebody else, because, people are in your life for a reason, a season, and things like that. And they may be there for 5, 10 minutes, so they really don't get the concept of catching on really what's going on with you. And, then you have some people, they could play a good game, The front is real. They could put on a good front, and you get caught up in that, and they slide through. So, like, I agree with Dawn. It stems from a lot, but again, I must say so. It starts with you, until you are able to acknowledge that something's going on with me. Why am I not motivated? What, and until you start reaching out, it gets hard. It really gets hard.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, with that, you know, but I'm telling you, like in this world today, people have no leniency or no, what's the word, empathy for a drug addict or ex-drug addict. Um, these people, not some, because I've been there too. So I'm just saying these people, but these people are pushed to the side. Um, the struggles that they went through over the years are pushed to the side, and they're told. A lot of people are told to get back into the society, and the only thing you have is NA and AA or whatever recovery plan or religion that you have that can support you. That's all you have. What what about if you make amends? What about making amends to people? Like I find
Mm.
sometimes when you say sorry for the things that you've done, there's a lot of people that they don't actually forgive you. They can't really. They're still there. They still have that animosity of the stuff that you stole, the stuff that you did. They don't want to. They can't see you going forward. They can't see you as a person that's not doing that anymore. Dawn, can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, the only thing I could say right now about amends, yeah, in my opinion and my experience, amends are to be made when it's appropriate. There are times when it's appropriate, and there are times when it's not. And as far as forgiveness is more or less for the individual.
Oh, wait a minute.
For
Well, you said appropriate. I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's an appropriate time to make amends.
Yes, sometimes there's different ways to make amends. Sometimes people are unable to, from my experience and in my opinion, some people are not able to make direct amends. Okay, for depending on the severity of whatever happened. It depends. Sometimes there's an appropriate time, there's an appropriate way to make amends. It just depends on whatever it is, whatever the circumstances that surrounds the need for amends.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you make amends to somebody and they're not looking at you as a changed person, they still looking at you as that old person. That's kind of discouraging. What is a person to do when you're not looked at as a changed person, Rhonda?
Hmm. Oh, so glad you asked that question. First of all, that comes with spirituality. Making amends with your higher power. First, it starts there, and then forgiving self. You know, because see, I believe that's the biggest thing. We're our own biggest critic. You know, making amends to others. Um, yes, you can go and try to fix bonds, but if the person is not willing, open-minded, then as long as you put your foot forward and you addressed it and you tried, be comfortable with just that. If they're not ready, that's not on you, because everybody's not going to accept you back, and everybody's not going to forget the things that you did. You done did so much damage. They're not. But as long as you got peace within self, after you're able to go to that person, because it's really not all, it's so much not always for them. It's also for you also, you know? As long as you can put it on a plate and you can own up to the things that you have done to people, and you can put it out there and you can say it, then whether or not, everybody's not going to welcome you with open arms. Everybody's not going to start stop putting their pocketbooks away when you come in the door. No, that's not going to happen. But are you okay? You know you're not going to go in their pocketbook. But you got to learn that that's them, and meet people where they are, and it's
But do you
okay.
but do you
It's
stay
okay because you hurt
around?
them. You hurt them. You did. You hurt them.
But do
You
you
hurt them.
stay around and allow that person to chastise you, make you feel down,
No, no, no.
continuously?
Don't allow
Hold on.
yourself to become a victim. No, no. Do not allow yourself to become a victim. Now, once you did what you did, do not allow anybody to keep beating on you. No. Because, see, then you become a victim of the circumstances of what you did. See, once I let it go, that's it. I'm a new me now. I'm no longer walking in those shoes that I was. So if people can't allow you to move forward, then maybe they're not the people you need to be around. You need to be around the ones that are going to let you move forward, and not let you relive your past over and over. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just got to make new family, new friends, meet new people. That's why it's called a support network. You learn to begin to find these new things over again. Yes, you do. Sometimes you have to put those other people to the back burner. You can't force your love on somebody. You can't buy your love. You can't do none of that. No, that's not what it's about. It's not. That's not what it's about. You're not gonna be able to please everybody. And oh well, maybe that's their mess. Because sometimes they've done things too and played a part, and they're not willing to accept it and accept the fact that maybe they held a part in your addiction, or maybe they
Well,
held
to piggyback
they
off of
played a
her,
part.
it just
So
goes back to
that's why you
what
got to go on,
what
because maybe they're
I
not willing
feel that
and able to
amends
accept that
are,
within themselves. So they
it
can't
depends
accept that
on
within you.
the situation,
Yeah, no, that's a
because it may
fact.
not be appropriate time to make amends, because like Rhonda said, there the other person may be accountable in certain areas, and the situation may be just too fragile to think about it. Sometimes it just requires time and space. People just require time to heal from whatever happened. And as Rhonda also said, that if a person is not ready to accept amends, then amends is also for you, or the person who has did some wrongdoing. Okay, sometimes a person may have forgiven themselves and made changes in their lives, and have become uh, a different person, but for because of what happened, maybe they're the people that have been hurt by actions or their behaviors may not be ready to accept that, and may not be able to see those changes. So each individual has to be comfortable and be forgive themselves first and be okay with where they are. And that just goes back to what Rhonda said.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. You definitely, in order for you to continue on and not, relapse again. And see, a lot of times, some people have, in certain people's lives are triggers, and some people trigger you, and they can cause you to go relapse again. Well, I mean, not they can cause you, but it's something that's, addicts, a lot of times when they feel hurt, again, we go back to hurt and pain. When they feel the hurt and pain, what are you going to do? You're going to medicate it, and that's where the addiction, develops there, but that's definitely a struggle. It's definitely a struggle, and this is not just a one-part conversation. This is a conversation that is a two-part, three-part. I don't want to get too deep into a lot of stuff because some people feel uneasy about it. But when you have a child that goes to school, high school, middle school, elementary school, whatever the case may be, you want to take a look. You want to find out what they're going through, what their struggles are as a youngster. Are they accepted? Do their friends come over their house to visit? I think that allowing a person to have their friends come over is a healthy thing. Sorry, and a normal thing. When you're young life, did you ever have a situation where you were able to have your friends come over?
Well, this is a really deep topic for me. So, well, the short answer to that is yes. It's really it's a little deep. It's yes and no. It's a combination of both. So, because of the nature of the environment, and I'll just leave it there because, as I said, sometimes it's the environments that sometimes people come out of, and from my experiences, my personal experiences, it had a lot to do with the environment that I was in. So it's yes and no.
I just want to let everyone know to tune in to our show. We're going to be having some deep conversations, getting straight to the point. We're also going to showcase people's talent, and we're going to have a few other segments um, looking at what's going on outside in the world today. I mean, actually hands-on situations that are occurring, in the world today. This is Like It Really Is, and I'm Maurice, and that's Dawn. And Rhonda went somewhere, but she shall be back on our next show. Um, Remember to tune in every Monday at 12 p.m. We will be streaming this live, and we'll be going outside on location, giving you footage of things that are occurring in the community. I want to thank everyone for coming and being involved. Dawn, do you have anything to say?
Okay, well, yes, thank you for having me on, and I look forward to future segments and hearing feedback from others.
With this program here, we're talking about what it really is, like it really is, getting to the core of the problem, straight to the point, and We're not going to always have down topics. We're going to have some upbeat topics. We're going to show you some restaurants that we have in New York City. We're going to have some interviews of some professional and some great music artists, people that are, in different fields, and we're going to learn a lot. So just stay tuned. Remember, like, subscribe. All of that stuff is important. Like, subscribe, and share. All of that stuff is important. I can't do this without you. I need you to reach out, tap that button so that we can start to be seen. Show us, share us, get into our groups and be a part of Like It Really Is. So I just want to thank everyone for being part of the show, and we will see everyone on the next program.
Okay, until next time.